The moment a man sleeps with his neighbor's wife, he shows that he respects neither his own home nor the foundation of marriage. Smart constantly mistreats his wife, thinking that using force is the only way to correct her mistakes. They've been married for 8 months, and for his wife Japan, it's been 8 months of unending abuse. Smart's neighbor, Bhadman, who has often seen him abuse his wife, walks over to confront him. Smart quickly accuses Japan of being unfaithful, and in an effort to shield her from more violence, Bhadman leads her to his apartment to stay until Smart's anger subsides. Marriage is meant to be a safe place, not a battlefield of bruises. Japan steps into Bhadman's apartment, tears still streaming down her face from the pain her husband inflicted. As Bhadman sits near her, his eyes fall on her short skirt, and a wave of desire begins to cloud his judgment. He subtly starts to touch her under the guise of offering comfort, but she quickly brushes his hands off her body. Realizing that Japan won't easily fall for his advances, Bhadman shifts tactics and begins a conversation about her husband instead. Japan opens up to Bhadman, explaining that Smart had abused her during their relationship but swore it would stop once they got married, a promise she believed before saying yes. Bhadman points out that abusive partners rarely change, and once abuse shows up in a relationship, the safest decision is to walk away before it gets worse. Abusers rarely know their limits. Don't entrust your life to a man whose hands bring harm instead of healing. Bhadman offers to get Japan a glass of drink to lift her mood. The moment your wife seeks another man's shoulder to cry on, you've already left her feeling alone. Japan stays seated on the couch, waiting for Bhadman to return with the drink, unknowingly hoping to find comfort in the wrong place. Love can close your eyes, but abuse should open them wide enough to run. Bhadman returns holding a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses, setting them down gently on the table in front of her. He uncaps the whiskey bottle, pours a drink for Japan, then fills a glass for himself as well. Bhadman's true intention behind offering the drink is to lower Japan's guard, hoping her vulnerability will make her easier to take advantage of, as his mind is already clouded with lust. He offers her a glass of the drink, and when she instantly declines, Bhadman shifts closer to her, trying to persuade her to take it despite her hesitation. She reluctantly takes the glass from him, and Bhadman subtly guides her hand toward her lips, pretending to help but driven by his hidden intentions. She downs the drink, and without hesitation, Bhadman picks up his own glass and offers it to her, but she shakes her head, saying she's had more than enough. A predator doesn't always strike with force. Sometimes it starts with a friendly drink. She accepts the second glass without thinking twice, unaware that she's slowly drinking her way into a state of weakness and exposure. She finishes the second glass, and Bhadman swiftly takes it from her, sets it on the table, then sits back, quietly watching as the alcohol begins to take effect. As she slowly drifts into sleep from the effects of the alcohol, Bhadman gently pulls her closer to him, taking advantage of her weakened state. He appeared to her as a helper, but unknown to her, he was a predator in disguise, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Any man who stoops so low to force his way into another man's marriage has stripped himself of the dignity and honor that makes one truly a man. He slowly lifts the unsuspecting lady from the couch, placing her over his shoulder, and quietly carries her into his bedroom. A drunk person cannot give sexual consent. Silence is not consent, and vulnerability is not permission. Bhadman is about to cross a legal and moral line to commit rape, a criminal act that carries heavy punishment under the law. Minutes after his unlawful act with Japan, Bhadman dresses himself with a twisted sense of joy and satisfaction, proud of what should bring him shame. He believes that since Japan's own husband mistreats her, he has the freedom to use her as he wishes, failing to see that her pain is not a license for exploitation. When a man who should protect his wife becomes her abuser, he opens the door for others to see her as a toy, not a person to be respected. Japan gradually opens her eyes, and to her shock, she finds herself naked in Bhadman's bed, unsure of how she got there. The man she thought had come to her rescue has heartbreakingly joined the line of those who have violated her dignity and stripped away her humanity. Bhadman enters the room and sees Japan awake. He tries to touch her again, but she immediately resists, refusing to let it happen a second time. He believes that since they've already been intimate, despite it being without her consent, gives him the right to do it again. Frustrated by her refusal, Bhadman coldly orders Japan to leave his house, since she won't give in to his demands for a second round. Japan covers her body with the duvet, then walks out of Bhadman's house. A man who finds joy in his wrong has already silenced the voice of his conscience. Smart waits outside, fuming with anger, convinced that his wife has stayed far too long at the neighbor's house where he believed she only sought temporary refuge. Japan steps out of Bhadman's house in tears, shattered by the assault, unaware that her husband is outside, waiting for her with growing frustration. The moment she sees her furious husband, she drops to her knees, pleading with him to forgive her for staying too long. When a wife kneels for mercy instead of love, the marriage has already collapsed in spirit. Smart marches up to his wife, his voice laced with fury, questioning why she spent so much time in the neighbor's house where she was supposed to find only brief refuge. Japan hesitates, struggling to find the words, and as Smart raises his hand in anger over her silence, she blurts out the painful truth that she was raped in the neighbor's house. Smart stands in disbelief, his voice shaking as he asks her to say it again. Japan, holding back tears, repeats with painful certainty that she was raped during her stay in Bhadman's house. No matter how much a man mistreats his wife, he won't tolerate another man doing the same, because even in his wrong, he sees her as his to protect. To Smart, Bhadman's actions are nothing short of a direct attack, and without hesitation, he starts thinking of how to make him pay for violating his wife. A man's wife is sacred ground, a no-go area for any outsider, no matter the circumstance. He helps her to her feet from her knees, then tells her to dry her tears and follow him to Bhadman's house to confront him for his actions. Bhadman sits comfortably on the couch, engrossed in a phone call, showing no hint of remorse for the crime he just committed against his neighbor's wife. His door slowly opens, and Japan walks in with her husband, both wearing expressions of anger, ready to confront Bhadman without hesitation. Smart steps forward and bluntly asks Bhadman if he had sex with his wife without her consent, but Bhadman instantly denies the accusation. Bhadman insists he's been misjudged by Japan, claiming that his only intention was to genuinely help her escape the abuse from her husband. Bhadman rises to his feet and angrily orders them both to leave his house, but when they refuse, tensions explode and a fight breaks out between them. Smart, who had always used his strength to intimidate his wife, finds himself overpowered as Bhadman slams him onto the couch effortlessly and begins to strangle him. Japan strikes Bhadman on the head from behind with a stick in a desperate attempt to save her husband from being strangled. To her shock, he collapses and dies on the spot. Japan just committed a crime known as murder. This is a lesson to everyone. Abuse is never love. Violence in a relationship, whether physical or emotional, is a sign to walk away, not a challenge to endure. Seeking help doesn't guarantee safety. Not everyone who offers comfort has pure intentions. Some prey on the vulnerable. A drunk person cannot give consent. Taking advantage of someone under the influence is not just immoral, it is a crime. Please share this video and comment where you are watching from.